Hi, Brandy Crosby of Unshakable Presence. I help women find their confidence so they can live the lives they were called to live. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about stop hustling for your worth. Stop working harder. Begin working smarter. Where does that begin? I have a Bible verse written down back here so you guys can see it. This is Ecclesiastes 10:10. I recommend you go to this and read it and put this on your mirror, put this on your computer, put it as something that you can see on a regular as a trigger device, because there are some lessons here that can help you stop working harder and can teach you how to work smarter. I can tell you this is a quintessential, foundational thing for finding success in life, especially as a high-performing woman. This is Ecclesiastes 10:10. If the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed, but skill will bring success. So let's unpack this. If the axe is dull, okay, where in your life do you have a dull axe? Okay, maybe you are pouring out to others all the time, because women, we were called to nurture. We were called to give. We are community driven and community based. If we see a need, we want to help. I remember my daughter on the playground when she was just 5 years old. And this was during COVID, like right maybe 6 to 8 months, and we were at a playground with a few people, and we're all still nervous about being in a playground, but we lived in a state where we could, okay? And she took a water bottle that I'd had, and it was iced, it was cold, and she grabbed it, and then she started running away. And I was like, where's she going with this water bottle? Like, what's going on? And so I saw that she was running towards a little girl. And my first thought was like, oh no, she's gonna give this girl some water. They're not supposed to share germs. And so I ran over there and I was like, what are you doing with the bottle? And she said, oh, she fell down. So I was gonna, since it's ice, I was gonna put it on her leg. And one that blew my mind, right? That this child instinctively thought to serve. Right? And it was a beautiful thing as a mom. And as a mom, I get to see what it looks like when you will literally sacrifice whatever you have to help other people over and over again. And I have seen that in her life, and I definitely see that in my life. So I am preaching to the choir here, preaching to myself here. I tend to hustle for my worth. And that is stopping, okay? I had 2 jobs recently, and I cut down to 1 so I can really focus, okay? And what does focusing look like? I was using a lot of strength to hammer at things, right? Because my axe wasn't sharpened, it was dull. So for me to get that axe sharpened, I cannot have too many things on my plate. I get to focus on what God wants me to focus on. So, because my one job provides the income that I need, I get to do that one job, okay? And I get to do it really, really well. And the other job, it's a family pastor job. I'm not doing the job anymore. I get to volunteer. And now I'm volunteering as the Sunday school teacher for the youth. And I absolutely love it, okay? And still continuing to serve is helping me get that axe sharpened, right? Because I love to serve, and I love the youth, and I love working with kids and all of those things. But if I am going 24/7, that axe is dull. If this mama is not even able to sleep at night, if you can't sleep, there's no way that you can be productive. And the last piece of this is really, really important for wherever you are in your journey. It says skill will bring success. And this is the piece here, that what is that skill that you need to help you be successful? First of all, really get clear on where am I working harder? Where are these places that feel so frustrating to me, right? Maybe it's kind of in interacting with your kids, right? They're going through things, they're learning how to regulate their emotions and interact with the world. And for you, well, goodness, you recognize that maybe you don't want to react the same way they do. Maybe you don't want to talk to them in a way maybe that you have. And so you're like, okay, this is a skill. It's a skill to learn how to ground and center, be still, be the oak tree, so that way your children or your coworkers or your family or your community members can experience emotions without impacting you, and you to have a clear head so you can give guidance and so you can give support. Okay, that's a skill. That's a skill you can learn. Okay. Another piece is, for example, that some people may, like I'll give an example with what I'm doing right now. Right now, I know that I want to reach people and pour into them and show what a life yielded to God's will looks like. And the skill set for me is making sure that I really focus here on YouTube and podcasting and my website, and I'm focusing on building a course, but I'm not going to get onto Pinterest. I'm not going to get onto TikTok. I'm not going to get onto Facebook. I'm not going to get onto these other things. Now, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. You just have to narrow it down. What are you focused on? Okay? And focus on what are you committed to? And it's a skill. I am a flute player. And I remember the very first day that I picked up my instrument. I couldn't even put it together. It was 3 pieces. I didn't even know how. The only thing that I figured out the very first day was how to pick up the head joint and figure out how to blow across the mouthpiece to make that sound. I felt like I was walking on air. It was amazing. I made sound. And the next day I kind of read the book, I put it together, and I sounded terrible, right? But I maybe put in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but I was focused. I was like, well, this is the thing that I want to learn, okay? What is that thing? What is that thing for you? Get clear on that. And again, I've said this in previous videos, but focus on 3 things. Okay, at that point in my life, one of my 3 things was playing flute. And the process started with, I was doing a little bit, the 5 minutes a day. And then pretty soon within months, it was 15 minutes, then 30. And by the time I was in college, I was practicing 3 to 5 hours a day on top of working full-time, on top of going to school and being in bands, right? And an orchestra. Like, I was a busy beaver, but I was very focused. And the further along I got into that process, the more time I actually got to spend on it. Okay. So at very first, when you're beginning to sharpen a skill, just bringing your attention, bringing your awareness to how you choose to be, and then making a choice. Do I like that? Do not. What do I want to do about it? And then stay focused on that same thing the next day. Okay, all right, so how am I going to sharpen this skill today? Right? And we're going to have highs, we're going to have lows in these journeys. And that's part of it. And we're looking at over time. Okay, that progress over time. The journey is in the doing. It's not in the having done, right? So enjoy the journey. The journey is the process that we're like, gosh, when I look back, I grew that skill set, right? And does it have to be going like this with a dull axe? No. And most people do that. And I will say, women in particular, we feel so much pressure to please others. we don't know how to say no. And I'll be the first one to say, I am still practicing no every single day. I missed an opportunity to say no yesterday. For example, I am doing a goal setting thing with an accountability group, and my goal is to do one karate class a week, right? I'm learning about self-defense, and it's very exciting, and it's a very great workout too. And my goal is one or more karate classes a week. And the karate class this week, I overextended myself a little bit doing something that my my C-section belly wasn't quite ready for, and kind of don't have that back strength, that core strength yet, because I'm just starting. And so my back, I kind of threw it out a little bit because I pushed too hard, right? I was using that dull axe. I was like, let's do this, ha ha. And then, okay. So lesson learned, right? But the no should have come after this. On the accountability call, they're like, okay, well, you've already committed your, or completed your one class for this week. How about one more? And at that point, how do I say no? I said no like 10 times, and then I ended up saying, okay, I will do 2 or more classes. And my brain, I'm literally still going, how did I end up saying yes to that? Right? So this is a piece of just, this is a daily practice. And so take time to practice the no's, right? If that's something that you experience, which my listeners tend to have that as something that they struggle with, but to sharpen your skill, like for me to get really focused on pouring out in confidence and helping you with courage and stepping forward into things that you need to do, I get to ask myself a couple of questions, and you're welcome to ask these questions too. What am I saying yes to, and what am I saying no to? I am great about saying what am I saying yes to. I got my checklist. I'm like, oh yeah, I said yes to this, and I did it. But what am I saying no to, right? So my personal challenge this week to myself, and my personal challenge to you this week is, what are you saying no to? Oftentimes when building a skill, there's things that get in the way. There's things that just land on our plate. What are you saying no to so you can enjoy the things on your plate and you can build that skill that you were called to build? God bless everybody. I hope this has been a blessing to you all. I will catch you next time. Bye.